you review the minutes?
I did.
Anything to change or add?
Nope. Entertain a motion to accept them. I'll make the motion to accept the minutes from August 21st.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Warrants assigned,
Signed.
payments assigned. ZBA decision. Anything?
You,
Alright, so I got a call today from Tracy Aldrich, who was speaking with the council for the ZBA, and he has some questions and stuff. He wants to meet with you guys. His paperwork has to be in by October 2nd. The next meeting is Monday the 18th, but James is supposed to be in, so that it's probably going to be a long one. So I told Tracy I'd get back to her. I didn't know if you guys wanted to set up it would have to be an executive session anyway, because it's a legal matter.
Right.
So I don't know if you guys want to set it up for during the day. His availability is the 18th, 19th, and 20th. He can do during the day. He doesn't want to go past the 20th though.
I'm pretty flexible.
She said he could probably do a 4 or a 5 o'clock as well. But
Oh,
to check
okay.
with you before,
I was gonna say, like, Dylan works during the day.
yeah.
I do, but I leave at 2:30. I can make it 4 o'clock.
So
Yeah, 4 o'clock's good.
Usually.
4 o'clock.
Sure.
What day would you prefer, the Monday?
Yeah, we have a meeting that day
So
anyway, so we
before?
can do
Okay.
the executive meeting at 4 and then our meeting afterwards.
I will, if that works, I will email out an agenda for
Okay.
that.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Stations 1, 2, and 4.
All right, so they hinted that September we might get the green sand filter back. They did pull some more raw samples out of various stations, so they've had those for a couple of weeks. I think they were trying to do some preliminaries to help speed the thing up because we're languishing, waiting. And, at one point, Station 1 was like the best water known, but it was a vacuum well, so it was sealed. It was never clean. So when they opened it up to rehab and flip it over to, sunken wells or pumps, they found that the wells were packed with sand. So what we were doing in essence was filtering the water with the sand and made it the best water possible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because Tommy kept asking, why did the water suddenly change? Well, because we were filtering it and we didn't know it because it was vacuum wells. They had to be welded shut and sealed. So we're still waiting on them. Station 1 hasn't gone online. Like I emailed you when the mag meter here died. We cannibalized that because it was sitting there waiting, not doing anything anyways. So we had to smash apart a lot because water, like in plumbing, you put a union in front of something that you're gonna have to replace. Water doesn't do that. They hard flange everything and stuff it this tight together. So there was no way. We tried everything possible to get it to come apart without, and we couldn't, so we had to smash stuff apart. I ordered a new mag. I think we're gonna have it this week, so it'll be able to go back in and be ready. It's probably about $5,500, so that's not a bad cost. Station 2 is also, it's an old mag, and it's actually different than these ones. This is what we actually have as the Siemens, and that's in all of our stations. You can take that head right off from one station and move it to the next, and that's what I did all of that Monday. Was I started flipping the circuit boards, and the chip is actually, it goes to the meter down below. So we started switching the head. The head came alive when I switched it, but it didn't do anything. I switched the circuit board, it came more alive, but it wouldn't read. So we realized that the piece down below, all the pieces had been died. Whether they got hit by lightning or something, I don't know, but they all died at once.
Okay.
So I'll probably order stations 2, a new mag meter, and when we take it down, hopefully for rehab, we'll flip it out then and we'll pull the Parco valve out of the station 2 at the same time, because we're gonna have to cut the pipe apart. to do it. So it just makes sense, and then everything is new, and they're all interchangeable. If something dies somewhere,
Yeah.
I can grab the parts from one.
Right.
Interestingly, when we pulled this apart down here, because it's in a confined space, when we pulled it apart, it's 12 inches on either side of that 6-inch mag. Like this giant reducers.
Really?
Yeah, it made it really hard to work, but
So
You
it
know.
reduces it to 12 to what, to the?
12 down to the 6. The
Wow.
giant reducers, which is weird because it's 8 up there and it's 8 coming out of the pit. But part of the thing for doing the building was maybe they had to put in a 12-inch line.
So in essence, you're only getting a 6-inch volume.
Right, yeah,
It's
so
even
you're
further
limited by it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. If they had been bigger, maybe when we brought the two pumps on together, we wouldn't have done what we did when we tripped the breaker on the pole. But they replaced the breaker on the pole. They had an issue, National Grid had an issue with it, so they actually replaced it. So I don't know, maybe it was faulty. I'm just leery of trying again and then waiting half a day for them to come out and flip it back up.
Okay.
All right. Station 3.
We reviewed the long-term plan. I've let town hall know, and so did Art, that, we might have an article for them so that we can continue on with the land part for Station 3 to keep moving in time for grants.
All right. Replacement well?
The 20 horsepower VFD, it hasn't arrived. They don't even have a ship date yet, so
Wow.
we're still waiting. They've got the 30 horse, but that's it. I mean, at some point, they might not want to be holding it and paying for it. Maybe they'll install it. I don't know why they just don't come and bolt it down. We can pay them for it, and then, it's here, it's ready, and it gets some of the work out of the way, but they have not, so.
Too busy.
Yeah, probably.
Walnut Street tank.
It's up and running. We're cycling 4 to 5 feet, but we're not able to keep an active chlorine residual in the tank. So we're gonna have to start putting in when it's filling. We'll put in, so this week we'll put in, on Friday we'll put in, and then we'll measure the residual to see how long it takes for it to fall off.
What causes it to?
Well, chlorine has a half-life. The day you open the drum, it's 15%. The next day, it could be 14, it goes off over time.
Okay.
It self-depletes. So we're keeping an eye on that, because I don't want to sample it and lose the tank again because it can't pass bacteria. So we'll figure that out, and then if I can, I might have Mike program there's a PLC up in the Walnut Street tank.
No.
I might have him program it so that we can turn the pump on. We'll come on when the stations call, the chlorine pump will come on and begin pumping in, and then we'll just figure out what dilution factor we want to use to keep it there.
This composting facility is the same as
Yep, it's
Yeah.
the same as the above.
above. Solar.
They did send back a very large report, like 60-something pages. So I just quickly glanced through it to get the topics. So one was install solar panels in the open areas, but I did look through to see if they have grants or stuff available yet. I'll have to read into it. One was reduce the temp at the chem buildings. What they don't understand, the chem buildings are kept warm because the KOH is a temperature at which it will suddenly gel and it hardens.
Right.
And it wipes out all your pumps. So there's a reason we keep it, it's not 90 degrees in there and it's not 70, it's below 70, so it's not like we're going in there and having sunbaths.
Right.
It's not a sauna. It's kept as cool as we can do it without, if we lost power or something happened during the night, that when we came in the next day, we'd catch it and, no harm would come. But if you keep it down at a minimum of 50 or 45 and something goes wrong, you could lose everything during the night. And then I'm replacing 6 pumps basically and lines along with it.
Right. So it was like a list of every way possible.
Yeah, they were
to
trying
save
every way
energy.
possible to save money. Another one was replace the office lights with LEDs. We're already looking at that. Some you can just, the LED itself, you just screw in. Others you have to remove the ballast, which is, sometimes it's 2 or 4 wires, but it's not a complicated thing. It's an easy thing that we can do ourselves. It's something we already had in mind. We did it at some of the stations. So that wasn't anything new. I'll look to see if they have any free money for it, but Usually they want you to pay for electricians to do it, and then, so you deplete any cost because we have to pay 3 times the labor rate. The other was lower the water level in the tanks. I guess they don't understand that.
Oh, the water level.
I know.
That affects PSI.
Yes, they don't understand that part of it, that the 5 million gallon tank, only 75% of it is unusable, it's just volume. It's the top 25% that gives you your pressure and out to the town, so that's not gonna work.
Did they give you a setting that you should have it at, or like?
No, I'll look, but when we get everything back up and running, because I only have half of this and half of that running, when we get everything back up, I might lower it another 2 feet so that we cycle the Walnut Street tank a little more. When I did the calculations, it looks like and I have to look harder at the drawings because they're in pieces, but it looks like we're only not filling 8 feet at the top of it. You've got 35 feet of working room in that tank.
Yeah.
So 8 feet out of 35 is not a huge percentage. And the reason that we can now cycle and we could never before, we were only getting 18 inches of cycle, but we had huge leaks. We had the one on Manley Street on the sprinkler line for the building that suddenly ramped up, and we chased for a year and then it finally popped. But these things you can't tell that they exist, just like we had the leak in the swamp. We couldn't tell that was a long-term leak too, but you can't tell it exists. We've had a heat wave now, so probably later on this week, maybe Friday, if we don't get any rain between them, I'll walk from the swamp, from the cemetery all the way to Mayolas on top of it, just to make sure that there's nothing else going on out there.
Okay. On your boots.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping it's dried up a little more.
Yeah.
I just might need a mosquito net.
Yeah, sure.
And then the other thing was replace the gas boiler with an electric air source heat pump. I just don't get switching over to electric. Electric is really, really expensive, and they're all pushing you to switch to electric heat pumps. I just don't. Electricity is expensive. I have solar on my house, so I don't pay an electric bill, and only by luck that my hot water heater was going when they sized it, that my bill was astronomical. So I have an oversized system, luckily. So I don't ever pay an electric bill.
I wonder if they're thinking that the panels.
Yeah,
would
the
feed
panels would feed it, but we have huge draws. When you got 30, 20, and 50 horse motors running,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
those are huge
That's up.
draws. You need a lot of panels to offset that. And that was about all that I could, those were the top things that came out of it. I just had to chase back to see if they have freebies out of it or whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
I think if we just replace the heater, it's an efficient unit as it is.
How old is it? How old is the building?
As old as the building. But it's a mini therm.
Yeah.
It's,
Hydrotherm, minitherm?
yeah. So they're pretty efficient anyways.
I think it's a Teledyne last, if I remember what they.
The new ones are probably more efficient because you're going out of a plastic pipe in some cases, so it's got to be somewhat more efficient. I don't think we'll save that much there.
You won't, because it still heats the water to 180 degrees
Right.
for thin tube.
Yep. And that was all that came out of that.
Okay. And was that through the state?
Yeah, that was a free thing through the state, through UMass. And that's when you're looking for grants for solar, that's who they push you through. So I just gotta read further to see if they have any grants in there.
Okay. Job posting.
We did get one response. He did follow the directions. He didn't really have any qualifications of water. He had some general knowledge. I sent it, I let Art know. Art is more harsh than I am, so I didn't hear back from Art on it, so I don't think he wants to.
Pursue it.
Yeah.
Okay. But the posting's out there now?
It is out there.
It's on, what, Indeed and the...
I think she does it Indeed and then the state and somewhere else. I know it's in the state.
Okay.
And,
Plymouth County Municipal.
yeah, MW.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not RA, it's a Mass Water Works Association.
Application for Plymouth County Opera Grant.
And so the applicant, it's at level 3 review. Once it passes the review, they'll be in touch to arrange sending the town the requested ARPA funds. So I guess it doesn't work like all the other, because, you know, I asked about sending invoices and she questioned me back on sending, what do you mean sending invoices? I guess they actually push the money to us or to the town, and then we just, you know, we have to keep records. So, you know, it'll be like what we're doing with the ARPA funds we already are getting through the town. Send in the invoices to the town, and then they'll, you know, generate the recs and pay us, or pay it.
Is that level 3 out of 3, or is it more after that?
I think that's it. The level 3 is it, but it's been there for a long time. That's why, you know, a couple of meetings ago, I sent her the query on it, and I did get the response back. I just had to have time to read through my emails, and I just did that today.
Okay. Water rates and service fees.
I haven't had any time to look at that. There's never a dull moment at the water department.
Yes, sir. Discussion vote on water department doing service tie-ins. Is this?
Yeah, well, you already voted to suspend it. It
Right.
needs to stay, we just don't have time.
Yep.
Right. Is this gonna stay on the agenda?
No, it should come off.
Water restrictions.
They're still up, and they need to be up because we're going into flushing now, so we're gonna use water. It looks like usage is down, but we're just finally stopping the rain, so we'll see how people respond.
Right. Rules and regulations.
I haven't had time. If we can keep everything, no matter how much my best efforts are, things just seem to go south quickly. And I know other departments work 24/7, 365, but truly, we have a department, it's minimally staffed,
Yeah, you're still down 2 men.
and you
so that-
can't walk away. Like, when people are out of water, you can't walk away. I can't close a water line down and say, that's it, you know, we'll get back to it, and the state gives us money. So there's never a dull moment.
Yeah.
All right.
I think when the mag meter kicked, that was the closest I came to cashing in my checks. I was like, all right, I'm done. The manganese on top of that, it's like, I was looking at the numbers.
Not yet.
Not yet. Still got another hurrah in me.
Amen.
We're beginning our next lead and copper because we're in the cycle twice a year, so you're allowed, it's really per quarter, but you're allowed pretty much 6 months. So I had to push that off onto Deborah. I spoke with Art before I did it, so Deborah's picked it up. She's worked with me anyways on the last one because I need her to go through her GIS to find all the houses. The list was submitted, it's approved by DEP, so she began making phone calls today, so we're gonna do it in waves of 10. And then hopefully we close out before we ever get near December.
Yeah. It'd be nice to get that over with.
It just begins again in January anyway, so.
Yeah. 102 West Center Street.
All right, so he did say that when he sells that property, it'll be deeded, so there will be a deed so that there's somebody to, if, you know, they don't pay their bill, then you can lien against it.
Okay. Are they gonna come in to see us? Or?
At some point, I think he's still trying to find out his cost for his new building without, you know, incurring any cost, so he's doing his scouting in advance. So at some point, he'll have to come in, but, yeah.
Okay. And he knows that we don't do the service tie-ins for that new building? That he'll be able
Right,
to do that himself?
yeah, yep.
Alright. And that's everything on the agenda. You want to do anything?
Next meeting is September 18th. Monday. I'll let you know if it's gonna, well, the next water commissioners meeting's at 5, and then I'll let you know about the other one.
About the meeting with the lawyer on
Yeah.
4 on that same day. You got anything, John?
I've got nothing, I'm good.
Somebody just pulled up.
Telephone, oh, no,
That's-
yeah,
that's-
Alright,
Very good.
do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor?